Briefing by Secretary East, Shri Jaideep Mazumder, on the ongoing official visit of Prime Minister of New Zealand. We are also joined by Srimati Paramita Tripathi, Joint Secretary who looks after Oceania and Indo-Pacific Division in the Ministry of External Affairs. With that, I invite Secretary Sir to make his opening remarks. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Randir, and a very good afternoon to you all to this special briefing on the visit of the New Zealand Prime Minister to India. I will start with a few opening comments and a description of the broad contours of the visit, including the program, and subsequently I will try to answer any questions that you might have. So, at the invitation of the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, the Right Honourable Christopher Luxon, is on an official visit from 16th to the 20th of March. This is his first visit to India as in his current capacity as Prime Minister. He is, of course, no stranger to India. He has been here multiple times in his previous incarnations as a business leader. He is the chief guest at the 10th Raisina Dialogue this year and will deliver the keynote address later today evening. As you know, there have been several high-level contacts between India and New Zealand in the past year. Prime Minister Luxon had telephonically congratulated Prime Minister Modi after he won his third term as Prime Minister. And Prime Minister Modi had also met Right Honourable Christopher Luxon on the margins of the East Asia Summit in Laos in October this year. Rashtrapati ji undertook a very successful visit to New Zealand in August last year, at which time the Prime Minister Luxon had also called on Honourable Rashtrapati ji. So as I said, Prime Minister Luxon arrived in New Delhi on the 16th, yesterday. He was warmly received by the Minister of State for Fisheries, Professor S.P. Singh Baghel, at the airport, and was also accorded a Static Guard of Honour reception. Prime Minister is accompanied by three cabinet ministers, the Minister for Tourism and Hospitality, the Minister for Ethnic Communities, Sports and Recreation, and the Minister for Trade and Investment, Agriculture and Forestry. He is accompanied by a high-level delegation comprising of officials, business persons, representatives of the community, media and cultural groups. As he himself said, this is the largest delegation that has ever accompanied a Prime Minister of New Zealand to any foreign country. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on Prime Minister Luxon last evening. Today is the main day of official bilateral engagements. Prime Minister Luxon visited Rajghat to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. This was followed by extensive bilateral talks, both in the restricted as well as delegation level at Hyderabad House. The talks covered the entire gamut of our bilateral relations, looking forward in terms of defense and security, trade and investment, education and sports, tourism and people-to-people ties. The two Prime Ministers also shared their perspectives on global and regional issues, including on multilateral cooperation. They both witnessed the exchange of bilateral documents and MOUs in various fields. One was an MOU on defense cooperation. Another was an authorized economic operator mutual recognition agreement. The third on memorandum of cooperation on horticulture. Fourth was letter of intent on forestry. Fifth was on education cooperation, and the sixth was as a memorandum on cooperation in sports. The two Prime Ministers also announced the launch of negotiations between India and New Zealand towards a balanced and mutually beneficial free trade agreement in a time-bound manner. Further, we were pleased to also welcome New Zealand to join the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative, IPOI, as well as the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. The joint statement has been issued and it is available on the Ministry of External Affairs website. The MOUs and exchange of MOUs was followed by statements to the media by both the Prime Ministers, which you must have witnessed, and a banquet lunch was also hosted by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in honor of the visiting Prime Minister at Hyderabad House. Prime Minister Luxon is also scheduled to call on Honorable Rashtrapati Ji at Rashtrapati Bhavan in a little while. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the 10th edition of Raisina Dialogue, where Prime Minister Luxon is the chief guest, and he will deliver the inaugural keynote address. Shri J.P. Nadda, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, will also call on Prime Minister Luxon tomorrow. Tomorrow he is also likely to participate in a business event and address IIT Delhi. The Mumbai leg of the visit is on 19th and 20th of March, when he will meet the Governor of Maharashtra, Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Devendra Fadnavis, and leading Indian business leaders. Prime Minister Luxon is also scheduled to visit the Indian naval ship INS Surat and the Royal New Zealand ship HMNZS Takaha, which is making a port call in Mumbai. Prime Minister Luxon will depart for New Zealand from Mumbai late on the night of March 20th. So far, this has been a highly substantive and productive visit with several positive outcomes. Both leaders share a great rapport, which was quite evident. It has helped push the agenda for an ambitious India-New Zealand partnership going forward. If you have any questions, I will take them now.
Okay, we'll start from here. So, Siddhant.
My question is, how much India's concerns regarding the Khalistani extremist element getting space in New Zealand was talked about. Last year we saw the so-called referendum being organized by them. So how much this was discussed, and what are the assurances India got from New Zealand?
Shivam.
Hi sir, Shivam Patel from Reuters. Could you please expand on the MOU between on the defense, please? Thank you.
Uma.
So I'm Huma Siddiqui. You talked about there was an agreement on the mobility. So what, if you can share more details, and as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, was that also discussed? And if you can share.
I'll take these two now.
Three? Okay.
Okay. So Siddhant asked the question about Khalistan. Yes, certainly this was an issue that came up, and you would have seen references to that in Prime Minister's media statement as well. We do alert our friends to the activities of anti-India elements in their countries and their abuse of freedom of speech and other democratic freedoms to glorify terrorism and to threaten attacks against our diplomats or our parliament or our events in India. So these were also conveyed, and I must say that the government of New Zealand has been receptive as well as has taken our concerns on board in the past as well, and this was also the reaction that we got today. On defense, the MOU covers exchange of visits, exchange of training, exchange of ship visits to each other's ports, and joint activities, training, etc. It is really a large omnibus agreement. As you know, we already have a white shipping agreement with white shipping information exchange agreement with New Zealand, and this is taking our relationship, especially our naval relationship, forward. On mobility, both sides have agreed on two things. One is to move forward our FTA discussions in a time-bound manner, and at the same time also take forward our discussions on mobility for skilled professionals. So that is not an agreement that has been arrived at. It is a decision to advance these discussions. On agriculture, especially on forestry, it was also discussed. As you know, New Zealand is very strong in the areas of forestry, so technical cooperation and capacity building in forestry was a specific subject that was discussed, as well as in the case of horticulture, we have an agreement, an MOU that was signed in horticulture. So fruits, especially kiwi fruit production in India is something that comes under this particular MOU, and capacity building in that direction.
Okay, Ubir, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Sir, this is Ubir from the Tribune. Can you please elaborate on the MOU signed with New Zealand on forestry, sports and horticulture?
Krishnamohan?
सर कृष्णमोहन शर्मा फ्रॉम भारत एक्सप्रेस CPTPP पे और क्या आगे कुछ बात हुई इसमें, या जो बात हमारी पहले चल रही थी उसी पे रुक गई? कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्रोग्रेसिव एग्रीमेंट और
न्यूजीलैंड उमा शंकर DTV से न्यूजीलैंड के PM ने अपने प्रेस स्टेटमेंट में कहा कि इंडिया में डिप्लोमेटिक प्रेजेंस न्यूजीलैंड बढ़ाएगा क्योंकि यहाँ बहुत संभावनाएं हैं, तो उसका क्या कोई नया कॉन्सुलेट या क्या यहाँ पे स्टाफ बढ़ेगा, इस बारे में कुछ बताएं।
Shall I take these three?
One more?
Okay.
सर कादम्बिनी शर्मा, इंडिपेंडेंट जर्नलिस्ट। सर टूरिज्म और एजुकेशन पर किस पॉइंट्स पर बात हुई है, किन पॉइंट्स पर?
फॉरेस्ट्री के बारे में मैंने ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन किया कि किस किस एरिया में हम कोऑपरेशन करने जा रहे हैं, एंड ऑल्सो इन हॉर्टिकल्चर। स्पोर्ट्स के बारे में training of our sports persons, sports medicine, and these are the areas that we wish to cooperate with New Zealand, and New Zealand and the MOU takes this forward. This is an enabling MOU that will get New Zealand sports expertise to India. As you know, New Zealand is a sporting nation. Per capita, apparently, they have the highest number of Olympic medals in the world. So it is a country with which we will definitely gain in our sporting abilities in diverse areas in cooperating with New Zealand. So in the free trade agreement, जो CPTPP के बारे में कह रहे हैं, so this is a process which has been initiated कि हम एक free trade agreement की तरफ जा रहे हैं, but in a time-bound manner. Perhaps by the end of this year, we hope to conclude a free trade agreement.
Strengthening position, diplomatic presence.
Strengthening diplomatic presence. Prime Minister Luxon he did say that this is one of their priorities to enhance their diplomatic presence in India, and he stated that they were planning to increase the strength of their embassy in India in a major way, embassy and consulates in a major way. On tourism, one of course is that only about 72,000 odd New Zealand tourists visited India, but which is not too small considering that New Zealand is a population of only 5.5 million. From the Indian side, about 156,000 Indian tourists went to New Zealand last year. This could of course be increased, but one issue is of course we don't have direct flights. This is something both sides touched upon, the importance of direct flights between India and New Zealand. It is a long-standing request from the diaspora, but also from business persons who want to travel frequently between the two countries. So this is being explored. Firstly, when Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters was in India in March last year, the air services agreement was updated. We now have an open skies policy with New Zealand. It's really for the private sector airlines to look at the potential of direct flights and act on it. On the education side, Prime Minister Modi welcomed New Zealand presence of New Zealand universities and campuses in India, but really there are many models of cooperation. It could be in terms of curriculum exchange, it could be in terms of sharing of degrees, where students could do part of their courses here, partly in New Zealand. So every model of education cooperation is open to the New Zealand side.
Two more questions, Sajna?
सनमार्ग न्यूज़पेपर से सर, जैसे न्यूजीलैंड में बहुत सारे इंडियंस हैं जो इलीगली स्पॉन्सर करते हैं। मान लीजिए किसी यहाँ के ट्रैवल एजेंट से उनका संपर्क रहता है और जिसको वो लेके जाते हैं वो भी पैसा लेते हैं और एजेंट भी पैसा लेता है। बहुत सारे लोग गुरुद्वारों में रुके हुए हैं जो वो पकड़े गए हैं, तो इसके बारे में सर भारत सरकार कुछ कड़े नियम बनाएगी क्या? वहाँ जाके वो लोग स्टूडेंट भी सफर कर रहे हैं और जो लोग काम के लिए जाते हैं वो भी सफर कर रहे हैं।
धीरज?
सर नमस्कार, मैं नीरज सुबह प्रभा साक्षी से। सर, दोनों देशों के प्रधानमंत्री ने हिंद प्रशांत क्षेत्र में चुनौतीपूर्ण रणनीतिक दृष्टिकोण पर भी चर्चा की है, उसके बारे में कुछ विस्तार से जानकारी साझा कर सकते हैं?
आपका पहला प्रश्न जो है स्टूडेंट के बारे में, भारत सरकार तो इसके सख्त कार्रवाई करते हैं। जब भी ऐसा कोई एग्जाम्पल आते हैं हमारे सामने, तो जो लॉ एनफोर्समेंट एजेंसीज उनके थ्रू से एजेंट्स के खिलाफ एक्शन लिया जाता है। और हम हमारे हाई कमीशन और कॉन्सुलेट जो है वहाँ पे या किसी भी देश में हो, उनसे भी हम खबर लेते हैं कि ऐसे कौन सा एजेंट है जिसने ऐसे लोगों को भड़का के ले गया है, तो तब हम पुलिस अथॉरिटीज़ को ये इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करते हैं और ऐसे कार्रवाई होता रहता है। ये नॉर्मल चीज़ है और होता रहेगा भी। दूसरी प्रश्न था इंडियन ओशन रीजन में हमारा जो कोऑपरेशन है। जैसे मैंने कहा, न्यूजीलैंड ने इंडो-पैसिफिक ओशंस इनिशिएटिव में भागीदारी लिया है इस बार, पहली बार। ये वो लोग भी चाहते हैं और हम भी चाहते हैं कि दोनों देश हिंद महासागर में सेफ्टी, सिक्योरिटी, प्रॉस्पेरिटी, स्टेबिलिटी, इन सब पे एक साथ काम करें। We are all for an open oceans, freedom of navigation, open commerce, and a region that is free from any intimidation, where prosperity, stability, and peace reign. So these are common objectives of both India and New Zealand, and this is our vision for the Indo-Pacific, and we are glad that New Zealand has also joined the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative to uphold these interests and these principles.
Thank you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press conference.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.